If you guys have been following the channel, you know that I bought this BMW 135 with only 11,000 miles, but it was flooded and full of electrical gremlins. So in the last video, we pulled the motor so that we could LS swap the car, turn it into a race car, and now we're here.
Several months later.
Today, we're gonna get the 11,000 mile N54 on a stand, fully rebuilt, and then installed into the OG single turbo 135. Yeah, dude. They're so small. Anyone need any mint condition stock turbos? Hit me up. Stock turbos? Yeah, we got a bunch of boxes from ECS, so I think we should open those and see what we all got. Alright guys, so we got everything unboxed from ECS laying behind us, and it is just crazy the amount of stuff we got going on. So if you didn't know, this is the 11,000 mile motor from the flood car, and before we put it in the OG car, I want to refresh it with everything we'll possibly need so this engine doesn't leak, doesn't misfire, doesn't have any issues. Alright, to give you guys a quick rundown, we've got a brand new valve cover and gasket here. We have a bunch of replacement bolts and replacement O-rings, replacement gaskets. We've got all new pulleys and tensioners, a new oil pan bolts, serpentine belt, O2 sensors, fresh oil change, fresh coolant, some upgraded hoses. And the nice thing about ECS is a lot of this stuff came in a kit. So even though we have tons of different baggies and different boxes here, if, for example, you need to replace your oil filter housing gasket, they have a whole kit for that. So that's why I like shopping on ECS. You don't have to spend the time to peruse through their website and assemble everything you need yourself. They have those kits ready to rock so you can keep maintenance up to date. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing tore down. I'm really curious to see what it looks on the inside. We're gonna take the valve cover off and the oil pan off, so we'll be able to get a good inspection in to see what kind of condition this thing really is in. Now, before we tear the engine down and find out if it really has 11,000 miles, I want to show you guys OBD11. This nifty little device is a powerful Bluetooth diagnostic and coding tool officially licensed by BMW and VAG groups. You simply plug it into your car's OBD2 port, connect to your phone, and you're able to perform advanced diagnostics and customize your car's features. Now let me show you how it works on my BMW F80. I'm going to run a quick health check here. 11 faults found, one in the engine, which is actually just for the original battery, it's finally dying. Another for DSC, we've got brake pad wear, and a few others. I'm going to go ahead, clear these faults, and see which ones stick around that actually need attention. What do you know? The battery one and the brake pad sensor. Next, let's customize some stuff with their one-click apps. So here you can change a million different things on the car, including coding a new battery, watching videos while driving, and even coding out TPMS sensors. But today, I'm going to be coding the windows to open and close with the key fob. You see, right now, nothing happens. But in a quick few seconds, we can activate this hidden feature through the app, and now we can control the windows through the key fob. Since most of you guys are BMW guys, this thing works with E, F, G, and I series BMWs. If you don't have a BMW or a Volkswagen group car, you can still get this and use it for diagnostics as long as your vehicle has an OBD2 port. So give it a try with my discount code Spence, and now let's go ahead and get this engine tore down. The reason I got a lot of new stuff, even though I think like some people would say it's only got 11,000 miles, why would you replace it all? Well, the fact that it sat for so many years without anything running through it, I just figured all the gaskets and all the plastics, as we found out before, were very brittle. Definitely. So even though it's got really low mileage, because it sat so long and in the heat and full of dirt, it's just, I think, worth replacing. Oh, jeepers. That's all over my leg. God damn it, my shoes wet. No. Alright, so here we are tearing down all the accessories off the block so we can get in and do some maintenance. And I gotta give a shout out to Sonic Tools. I'll be doing a full video on their tools, but here we are using them to get in all these hard to reach spaces. The sockets, extensions, and wrenches are perfect. Dude, I remember the first time I replaced my turbos. on that car. I did upgraded twins and I did the whole job in the car, and I'm just going through this now and it's jogging my memory of like how terrible it was to get in all these spaces when it's crammed up against the frame rails. And here we are, just, I feel like open heart surgery on a table, baby. So much easier. I couldn't even
imagine doing this in the car. It would be a nightmare.
Here I am with all these fancy like power tools. I had 2 power tools, a shitty no-name drill and a shitty no-name impact.
I remember that impact. It wasn't great.
No. There you go. I think we're good. Oh yeah, this is gonna clean up real good. All right, we got her stripped down and taped up. We've got some paper towel and some of the oil feed and return lines. Same story over here because this thing is so muddy. I'm gonna let it soak in engine degreaser and we're gonna power wash this off because I want this thing to be nice and shiny. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, power washing this thing was an absolute nightmare. It was so messy, and the worst part was it didn't even get it that clean. Like, there was still a ton of dirt left. So I posted on Instagram asking if anyone knew how I could clean this engine block, and someone recommended dry ice cleaning. So I found a company called Car Supplies Warehouse that sells this dry ice cleaning equipment, and they let me demo it on the engine. And oh my gosh, this was the most fun and the most satisfying results ever. Check this out and drop a comment down below if you guys want to see more or learn more about dry ice cleaning. It is time to freshen up this motor, you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and replace all the stuff that you guys see behind us here on this 11,000 mile motor, just so it's brand new and tip-top shape for the OG 135. Let's get started. So first, I'm taking off the oil cooler lines just to get them out of the way. Eventually, we're gonna be replacing the oil filter housing gaskets, but first, we're gonna go ahead and remove this valve cover. So we're unbolting everything. I wanna replace it just because it's old and brittle. It never hurts to do it while it's out. But first, I kinda wanna take a peek inside the motor and see how clean it really is. Wow, this is clean. Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, this is spotless. Outside of this middle section being kind of nasty from being open in the elements, the rest of this looks brand new, which is awesome to see. I mean, you can still see all the paint markings, all the torque markings on all the springs and head bolts. This is good news. Good to see. Now, before we put the new cover and gasket on, I'm taking this opportunity to clean out that middle section, which is really hard to access with the cover on. And now we're gonna go ahead, put the cover on, and torque everything down. Now, there is a really weird torquing sequence here, so you'll have to look that up online. It's a lot of back and forth and crisscross, and all these are very light torque to just 8.5 Newton meters. But again, way easier to do this when the engine's out of the car than in the car. Next, we're gapping all the new spark plugs to 20 thousandths with the awesome BMS tool, and then we're installing the injectors. Now, I did a cool little Instagram reel on this, so be sure to check out my Instagram where I detailed exactly how you should be doing this with Index 12s. And after this, we're draining the oil and swapping out the oil pan gasket. Look at how clean this engine is, you guys. I'm so happy to see this. I really do think this engine only has 11,000 miles, but here's the fun part. We're bringing over the Doc Race single turbo kit so this car can make a ton of power again. And to hold that power, we need a new clutch. That's right, I went with another X clutch, and the only reason I didn't reuse my old one is because I literally couldn't. The old engine was an 8-bolt because it was an early N54, and this new engine is a 6-bolt for the late model N54. So I went with another twin disc ceramic X clutch, which holds 1,350 foot-pounds of torque. This is their biggest clutch, so if you're making high power, be sure to check it out. I'll have this one linked down in the description, but they also sell some other models which hold less power for less powerful applications. Now it's finally time to pull the 135 out of this corner where it got filled with dust and cobwebs. It feels so good to be working on this car again, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. This thing has just been stashed in the corner for way too long. So let's go ahead, get this 11,000 refreshed engine installed into the OG 135. Look at this, you guys. Oh baby, it feels so good to see this car not shoved in that corner anymore, with an engine in it being so close to breathing life. I dropped the turbo on here. It is not connected to the hot side yet, but this just makes it look so much more badass. But we probably still have a day's worth of work left on this thing between putting the intake manifold on, doing all the port injection, fuel injector stuff, putting all the accessories back on, plugging all the wiring in, and getting the hot side of this turbo kit on. So we definitely still have some work to do here before this thing is breathing on its own, but she's getting real close. And check out how freaking clean this thing is. Like, the dry ice blasting really cleaned this thing up. This thing looks like it doesn't even have 11,000 miles on anymore. This thing looks brand new. So super impressed with that. I cannot wait to be driving this car again, you guys. You have no idea how long it's been. Like, since I've actually driven this thing with it running perfectly good, it has been, I want to say, like 2 years. So super excited to get back in the driver's seat and super excited to get going on the LS swap. But I do want this car running and driving so I can always be making content with it and enjoy the car again. So, by the way, that reminds me, Beamer Street Pit Crew tees, I just launched these on beamerstreet.com. Check them out. They've got the 135 doing the record pass of the drag strip on the back. I think I'm going to end it here. We got a lot of exciting updates coming soon. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.